welcome, Alain. We are very grateful to have you on the show because you are a known person for the WordCamp community. Also, I have seen you in the different international WordCamps also, and the Yoast. You are from the Yoast. That is different background. Also, this kind of opinion and experience can also help us to analyze WordPress after 20 years of WordPress. We are talking about the um, a factor development factor for the WordPress, and we have five questions in this interview. Every question have a point from 1 to 10. Like we are ranking WordPress on that terms, and based on your opinion, that can be given, and you may need to justify like why do you give that point on that terms of WordPress. Okay, let's start with your introduction from yourself.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm Alain Schlesser. I work as a principal architect for Yoast. I maintain WP-CLI, the command line interface for WordPress. And I'm generally very interested and vocal in the open source community in WordPress and in some other open source communities, and always interested in making sure that we can push open source to newer heights.
Yeah, that's great because it's all the success of WordPress is all because the open source project and the community. The main factor of the WordPress is that. Now we can also point out something that can be discussed with the development of WordPress also. In the first of all of the point, we'd like to talk about the ease of use for the WordPress, like considering other CMS platform and other programming language also. Considering the interface and available tool, how easy do you find WordPress for building and managing websites? Like rating one is for very difficult, and we can just incline to the 10, and 10 is for the very easy.
Yeah, this is very difficult to give one rating, because I think the experience is very different between building a website and managing a website. And I think WordPress has tried to simplify a lot the building of a website. So if you build a website along the lines of what the current editing experience is optimized for, I think it's getting easier and easier to use.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the way you're currently building websites, it makes it much harder to manage them as they grow, where you will have a harder time just keeping everything the way you want. So on a rating from 1 to 10, I would say the ease of use, I would say it's a 5. It's really like a middle ground. It is easier with some tools to get the first draft of a web page, which makes it very hard to manage over time. And there's other tools that allow good management, but it's really hard to get the first site going. And I think right now WordPress is somewhat in the middle. It's getting easier to use to get that first version of your site working, but it's always a trade-off between ease of building versus ease of managing.
So you are giving 5 for that.
Yes.
It's a very like a lowest point that you have given.
I'm a very critical person. I like us to do better.
No problem. Coming to the customization and flexibility, how would you rate the customization and flexibility of WordPress in terms of themes, plugins, and design options like customizer, page builder, and other things like you need to customize not only building and managing the website. We are pointing the ranking the WordPress in terms of customization and flexibility. How do you rank that part also?
Yeah, for the customization and flexibility, WordPress has always been very customizable. So already the out-of-the-box experience allows you to build a very large set of sites. And if you then add the fact that you can, with filters and actions, basically replace anything you want, that makes it very, very flexible.
Yeah, child
Um,
things or that thing's also flexible.
yes. I'd say it's a 9.
Mm.
You can build mostly anything you want with WordPress and customize in whatever ways you want.
Mm.
There's some limiting factors on the lower end of the stack where the basics are not that flexible, but everything that the user are seeing, you can customize pretty much the way you want. So
Yeah,
I'd give it a 9.
yeah. So your background is basically from the developer, or you are a kind of management guy, or?
So I'm a software engineer.
Mm.
My background is always from the development side. So I would approach projects in terms of not uh, I would not build something, but I would build code that builds something so
Okay.
that I can reproduce that
Yeah.
later on. It's more the way I approach things.
Yeah. Because we are heading to the e-commerce capability of the WordPress. Lots of people may use WooCommerce and other tools like subscription form or other monetization tool like ad management and other things. WordPress is also very suitable for that kind of platform also. In this part, we'll talk about how do you rate your experience using WordPress for the e-commerce. Not only e-commerce, we are talking about all kind of e-commerce things with the WordPress, including setting up the online store and managing sales and other things. How do you rate? Like 1 is for the very poor and 10 for the excellent.
Yeah. So I would rate this a 6. I think that for a lot of use cases, WordPress is a viable option.
Mm.
I think that in areas where you need quick and simple e-commerce transactions,
Mm.
usually you also need the web platform around it. So WordPress is a pretty good option for that. I
Mm.
don't think it's that great for actual real e-commerce shops, real large stores.
Mm.
I think that it has lots of scalability issues. I think that a lot of vital pieces of the puzzle are missing there. This is all solvable, but it usually comes with a lot of custom development with expert engineers that need to solve for lots of issues
Mm.
that start cropping up with scalability.
Mm.
And oftentimes, when you're at that point, you realize that you would better have started with a different solution if you planned to scale. So I think if you need a little shop for something, or you need a quick transaction, or you need a donation button somewhere, WordPress is perfectly fine.
Mm.
But building a large store, I don't think it provides adequate solutions.
Because people are also trying LMS system, travel system, and that system are also very popular in the WordPress ecosystem, and people are using. I don't know, uh, is that easy or accident? I don't know, but people are trying that factor of WordPress also. Okay, let's come to the main and important point questions of this interview. Like we are talking about the community support and the learning resources. We are ranking WordPress on that point. Like how would you rate the availability and quality of learning resources? Like you need to have a right answer. You need to get the access to the right support and right people. And also we are organizing some WordCamps, meetups, and other kind of networking things to sort out the problem. How would you rate the availability and quality of learning resources and community support, like tutorials, forums, and other this kind of WordCamps for WordPress from 1 to 10?
Yeah, yeah. You're making these questions hard for me because I often see like two conflicting pieces together in one rating. So
Yeah,
I think the community support in general is really great.
yeah.
Learning is very impressive if you consider how many resources are generated around the globe in so many languages for so many different communities. I don't think there's no other ecosystem that comes close to the amount of resources that are created. So in
Yeah,
that regard, it is really wonderful what we're creating.
yeah,
But in terms of learning to actually use WordPress, more lately it has really become hard to get reliable documentation about how to build websites with the new tools that rapidly change.
mm,
And a lot of people have trouble figuring out how best to do things because all the documentation they find is usually outdated because things change so quickly. So that immediately decreases again how much learning support you have. So I'd say just to be fair to the awesome community and all the effort that is in everything, I'd say an 8 out of 10.
maybe.
But right now, the current development experience and editing experience is really pushing this down. It could be higher if we would do a better job of having authoritative documentation about the current state of how you're supposed to build a website.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is because WordPress is from 20 years. There may be some outdated resources also, but they have also maintained in different language, and they have also is maintained in different format like text, and we can also find some videos on YouTube also. They have also WordPress TV, and this kind of WordCamps and meetups are also a kind of hub to learn about the WordPress and new things and other things. 80 is also a great number, great ranking. Okay. Let's come to the question number 5 is the adaptability to new technology. Like WordPress, like other platform and other programming language and other CMS platform, we need to adapt quickly to the new technology. But we do not need to, or we cannot forget the older compatibility and back compatibility as well. But how will do you think WordPress adapt to the new technology and trend like mobile responsiveness and modern design standard and like AI and other data processing things and other things? How do you rate in that factor for the WordPress?
Yeah, there's again a lot that comes together here.
Yeah.
So those questions are hard.
Yeah. We have just
So
summarized the question in 5 point.
yes. So the way the front end can adapt to new technology, meaning when new features of the web platform emerge,
Yeah.
that is right now becoming slightly a bit harder because of the way the front end is generated, because we have more markup that is stored in the database and in the code that is hard to change. So it just gets a bit harder to adapt to new front end principles and trends.
Yeah.
And also in terms of the back end, we have trouble keeping up with the development with PHP. We cannot use the latest versions and features. We are stuck in compatibility mode with the MySQL database, so we actually need to turn it into an outdated
Yeah.
backwards compatibility mode just to work.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it is not that easy to make WordPress adapt to new technology. I'd give it a 6 because I think it's still quite easy to adapt to new features, like when we want to do more responsive images and change the way fonts are loaded and things like that. It still seems like we can make that happen.
Hmm.
But overall, I see that the backwards compatibility principles that WordPress has in place that have their value, they
Hmm.
are causing more and more issues down the road of just keeping up with everything. The rest of the web ecosystem is changing in an accelerating way, while WordPress is having more and more trouble keeping up. And so right now, I think it's a 6 out of 10. We can still do it right now somehow, but we definitely need to improve on that. Otherwise, at some point, we will have trouble keeping up.
Yeah, yeah, but the Gutenberg project was is running from 2015, 16, 17, 18, and it is still is still growing, and there are a lot of bugs also, but there are lots of improvement also. People are just contributing from their side, and Automatic is also having some core developer for this project also. It is changing, but the backward compatibility is always challenge for the any software platform. Like, okay, this is the last question for the conversation. Like for the ranking part, like overall satisfaction from your journey, from the beginning of your WordPress journey to this point, like overall, how satisfied are you with your experience using WordPress for your project and your business from 1 to 10, from very dissatisfied to very satisfied?
I would say that will be an 8 out of 10. I'm generally satisfied with WordPress because, quite frankly, there's not that much that can compete with it
Mm,
on all fronts at the same time. So there's a lot of tools or pieces of software that do one thing better than WordPress or the other thing better than WordPress.
mm,
But if you consider the entire package, it's really hard to find any viable alternative, all things considered. But
mm,
still, to be really satisfied, I would love to have some improvements in terms of ease of use and in terms of how it adapts to new technologies and so on. And those are all trade-offs. So
mm,
I'm generally satisfied. I know that those things are not easy to change and it will always come at a price.
mm,
But yeah, it is. I would love for WordPress to have more of a future-facing approach
mm.
that and more standards compliant approach that would make all of this easier in the longer run.
Yeah, we need to encourage new people also. We need to encourage new business from the other platform also. That satisfaction level should be always high to ourselves, because we need to encourage other people. And based on other conversation for the same question, and people are just sharing their experience, like, yeah, they are just giving my business, and they are just giving my other things, and I'll give like 100% ranking for that part also. Okay, let's before wrapping the session, I'd like to talk about your visit travel plan for this WordCamp, and how long you will going to stay here for the touring, and in summary, can you share about that?
Yeah, so we weren't able to come early because we just came back from a trip to Uganda.
Mm,
So we just came shortly before the event, but we're
mm,
now planning to stay a few days extra to be able to enjoy the city of Torino,
mm,
enjoy the good Italian food here, and we'll leave on Thursday next week. So we'll
okay.
have a few days to actually visit the city, walk around, work from a nice cafe here with a good cappuccino, and
That
enjoy Italian life.
Yeah, the nearest point is there is a vineyard, like they are having that kind of garden also. I couldn't make to visit this time because definitely in future.
Yeah,
So there
sorry
will
to
be,
hear that.
yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much for having a conversation with us for our program, for our. So thank you for the being part of this community, because people like you are inspirational person for our other visitor and other attendee or other viewer for our show also, that will add value. That will definitely add value to our effort also. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was a great chat. Very interesting questions.
Yeah, I have sorted out that question from the 10 to 12 question to 5 question, and some question are merged and some question sound similar, like ease of use and customization things. But we are having fun. We are having conversation just because of WordCamp Europe.
Yeah,
Just because of
it has
work.
been great.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
has been great.
Okay, let's
Thank you so much.
yeah. Okay.